Man, if Black history was a video when I could rewind the tapes, back to when black people were scared to even look out the drapes, like back to when the whip was used for all of our mistakes, back to Harriet Tubman pulling out those wild escapes, I'd be up all night. I'd be so awake, eyes so open, heart gets tired and hands begin to shake, head begins to ache because of the struggle Martin Luther King went through just so he could shape our history. He had a love for Mahatma Gandhi, meaning that he could have Gandhi out the way, but he decided to use peace and love to take away our misery. The war's not over, but somehow we're still able to claim our victory. So you think Martin Luther King is turning in his grave? Well, as he's turning, I think he's smiling like this. Like there'll always be racism, except somehow God raises his hand and erases it. And I know it's terrible to think that there might be a 7-year-old Caucasian boy that embraces it. And it's sad that that's how his parents are raising him, because imagine raising a child to hate black people. That's not convincing a child that Batman's evil. And so he starts doing stuff to us that aren't so legal, grows up to be a bad police officer or a pistol shooter that puts a barrel of a gun to my head because I'm a Negro and I'm preaching about Martin Luther. This white man's about to do something lethal. Want another example? Well, allow me to paint this picture. Somewhere in the world was a black father out there that was crying in 2020 after the whole thing with George Floyd and a police officer stepping on his carotid artery. Because imagine having a black son crying because he saw the whole video. I can't breathe, he said many times. You could hear him scream that I can't breathe, even on low audio. And imagine being a black father, seeing your black son crying, knowing that it's almost impossible these days to emotionally protect your children from things like that. Man, the system of ours got the world instilling fear into the children we raise like that. They got us looking at our children like this. Son, the world is full of a lot of crime and hate. And your mom and dad have a lot to deal with on top of our plate. And so please come back home about an hour before 8. And please take that hood off your head. We don't want to have to cry at your grave. And please show your hands to the world so the world doesn't think you're about to point a gun at his or her face. You tell your children these horrific things to their faces because you're scared that when they actually start walking on the road to where their destination actually lays, they might accidentally trip on their laces, causing them to eventually catch all these cases. And so you're scared that your children will go from being successful to being a failure in all of the crappiest places, all because their melanin caused them to be the odd one out of all of the races. And so as a black parent, this makes you feel afraid and weak, when at the same time you're trying to be portrayed by them as a superhero. I get it because I've been in that house, but even if you don't get it, at least you can see through the window. So I think it's clearly apparent that we're trying to make things better for the world as we reach our highest crescendo. Because look at how far we've come from so many years ago, though. We got black presidents and black leaders and black CEOs. So much more to appreciate with this God-given chocolate skin tone. Because of Martin Luther King, there's not as much discrimination. Like we're able to be in the same bathroom, restaurant, or bus ride with the Caucasian. We've been able to rise up so this nation can live out the true meaning of its creed, that all men are created equal, because black, white, brown, Christian, Muslim, or Jew, remember we all bleed the same color too. And this world is just me and you. We're all one no matter what we've all been through. You see, if you were to ask me what Martin Luther King would have said if he was raised from his tomb, I swear to God, man, I think you'll say, Deja Vu. I've had this dream before.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream